Today I'll be talking about assessment task 2, my creative self-branding. Here are all my different parts and what pages they're on. Stage 1, research. So this is my persona, a bit about me. I'm 18, live in Frankston South, Melbourne, Australia. I love netball, football, art, design. I'm very determined, creative, artistic. The styles I like are like 3D, freehanded, a bit of graffiti in like kind of the type side of it. I like to be a bit more hands-on when it comes to like sketching, the drawing part, and then later on refining it on Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop. I love, netball, the netball uniforms, and then like the exercise stuff that comes into play with like running shoes, all that jazz, and then just keywords like graffiti, street art, design, and then preferred materials: paint, pencil, drawing, markers, Adobe softwares. Logos that I quite liked, I've got a lot of bold ones, like the Oreo one that I really liked. I like the blue colour, as blue is my favourite colour, and how it really pops out. And I also really like the font of Disney, that kind of curved, fun feeling. Here's more bold kind of logos. I do like the Firebirds one. And then I also really like the Virgin typeface, as again it's similar to the Disney. It's a bit curved, bit fun, and a bit like imbalanced in a way. Colours, my favourite colour is blue, so try to show different ways blue can be shown, different shades that I love. And I just think I always gravitate towards it, so I'd find it easier to create a product or my design in the future. Another colour was yellow. I do obviously really like yellow. I think I like blue a bit more, but this is also another option that I wanted to look at, which could be either using contrast against each other, separately, or together. It can be shown very vibrant, very harsh, but yet also very soft and calming. Fonts that I really liked. I do like how these ones are quite bold and like to the point in a way, it feels like very just strong. But I think I gravitate a bit more between the Bryston, however you say it, 90 and Royal Avenue, as I liked that kind of flowy, bold yet simple but also interesting look. Normal self-branding items, a lot of these things I have and many people do have, and you see everywhere in shops, and quite basic, but they just work. Mind mapping, I talked about locations, materials, and personal interests. Locations, it's about local sports, so like netball courts, footy grounds, and then also like sports centres like MCG, Marvel, Rod Laver, John Cain, all that jazz. Then went over to materials, so the exciting, vibrant colours like blue, yellow, pink, then the materials like paint, pencils, markers, embroidery. Then I also went into the actual physical feeling of materials, like sweat proof, relating to how I love exercise, soft and comfy, like comfortability, and can move around. And then personal interests, social, hanging out with friends, going out for dinner, dressing up. Again, relating to the clothing side of it, comfortability yet trendy. And then I went back to the gym, exercise, netball feeling, where it was clothing, exercise related. Went into netball dresses, and then the netball bibs, which I really liked that idea. Creative self-branding items. There's a lot of similar things in there. I love these are rugs that I see all over TikTok, where you like shade the side, you make them pop out with bold colours, and it's a bit swirly, fun, and curvy. I really like that idea. With vibrant colours, and then I thought that something like this also is quite fun to look at. Love the bold colours and all these things. Netball bibs, again relating back to my mind map, and then just the font in this is also really cool. My Stylescape one, I chose the colour of blue because my favourite colour, and I thought that my ideas would go well with it. Incorporated my two favourite fonts from my font research of 90 and Royal Avenue. I really like how the first letter of the main word is always got that kind of circle curve bit on it, and it just all looks a bit strange, but also like you can figure out what the letters are. They're very pleasing to look at, and I think that's the look that I want to go for. And yeah, just that kind of, I think what my stylescape is that kind of very wavy, curly kind of form. Stylescape 2 I didn't really like as much, as I was kind of picking between the two to get a real idea. Yellow, I do like the colour yellow, but I prefer blue a bit more. But again, relating to that kind of vibrant side, this one didn't have as much to do with like kind of the line curvy aspect as I want to incorporate, but I did also think about the fluffiness of teddies and carpet, which I think is also a good idea further on. My analysis and critique for my stylescapes, the images that I chose I feel like reflect my design and what I'm interested in. I really enjoyed the photos in my stylescape, and it allowed me to come up with a lot of good initial ideas that helped me, develop further on from that. Mainly lean towards the first one with the blue, as said before, with that carpet kind of flowy look mixed with netball. I just feel like I can come up with a lot of ideas with that. What features of the imagery are appropriate to visually representing a newt? The netball images really relate to me, as I love netball and have a passion for it. And also stated in my persona is the art and design aspect, which I feel like I can really show through that kind of flowy, curvy line work showed in the carpet, and with using very colourful, eye-catching colours like blues, and you can use in different kind of shades. What kind of logo do you prefer? I really liked, the aesthetically pleasing ones that are quite bold, curvy, but also so the logos like Disney and Virgin, I feel like would represent my stylescape quite well. And then I talk about that again with the font. I prefer, with that bold, flowy, curvy font that aren't very balanced but are in a way, but also really fun and interesting. And I like how unique and irregular the 90 Bryston and Royal Avenue are. Stage 2, concept designs. So I used my last name Taylor, and I wanted to, as stated a lot in my beginning of my research, was that flowy, curvy line work. So I tried giving that kind of drip feel there. Didn't really like the quite straight lines in these ones. I liked this, how, again, quite flowy. This was cool to look at, and I liked this one. Then others didn't really like this one, not this one. Liked the idea of this and this, but I just don't think that they would show that feel that I was wanting to give, which I think these two are some of my favourites. And then refining them, allowed me to properly think what I liked the best. I did really like this one towards the end, and this one, but again, I just don't think that it would work well with my idea. This one, I did really like this one, and the boldness of these two, but I don't think that it relates to my research, and I think this one is the best one that is going to look the best in the way that I want to present it. So this was my chosen refinement. I'm really happy with it. I liked how it all just kind of fits in together very nicely, but also in a kind of interesting way. My design concept sketches of my actual product, I went with the idea of bibs and netball, ball related, everything like that. So came up with the idea of a netball bib with the centre on it, that using that carpet line bold work on here, trying to show that it's, a bit of a fabric bold kind of feel, and then having my last name Taylor on the back of it, which would also be in that carpet texture. I do think I'd like the idea of having Taylor written there and maybe just a T there, which I further developed in my refinements. I then went on with a netball using that same idea of that carpet texture feel. I feel like it was a lot going on, but I still think it would look better with some refinement. And then using Taylor, the same texture on the back of the ball. My refined ones, I feel like I was able to show my idea a bit clearer. And I feel like you can tell that it's that carpet feel. Adding Tailor there, which I feel like definitely could, further go on, make it a bit more simple in this corner, which I do further on. Making the Tailor also quite fluffy and carpety, just to show it. Using the colour palette of blues, which I will later be using further on. I refined my balls a bit more and liked it a little more, but not as much. Stage 3, design development. So these are my mock-ups. I used Adobe Softwares to create a bib look, and then just different pen tools to create that fabric feeling. I liked using my font and my logo on the front of it quite well. I think it looks quite nice with the center, and just making it a bit more minimalistic with the T on the side at the bottom, and then with Tailor fluffy on the front. I don't really like this one as much. I just don't think that it really related as much as what I wanted to show, but I still was happy with it. My digital development of Tailor, I used carpet and outlined it, and was able to create different layers to show what I wanted to show, and just going over the edges to create that fuzzy, fluffy feel. Then my fluffy netball bib digital development, I used actual netball bibs and used the same technique I did with my logo, which cutting the shapes that I needed, copying and pasting them, adding them as I needed to go on different layers, and then further, adding everything that I needed to. So stage 4, final design. This is my black one. I feel like that it shows it quite well, and I do like it. White I don't like as much, but I still think it creates a very cool fuzzy carpet look. Black and white next to each other, I think they look very cool, but they don't give that happy feel that I want to give. And then I was very happy with my blue one towards the end. My final bib design on the front, I was extremely happy with. I really like how you can see that it's fabric, as well as all the created all the type fluffy, and I was really happy with that. And then the back as well, with having the main logo a bit bold on the back. My reflection, what I enjoyed most was sketching out the different ideas using pencil, paper, pen, and it allowed me to come up with more ideas. I also love creating my mock-ups and design the logo, and ultimately making it a lot of fun to create my final design. And I did this through Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator. I loved incorporating my love for netball as well as art and design together, and creating a design that I'm very happy with. Any difficulties? I did find it quite difficult to create that carpet look for the lines, and the logo as well as the typography. But I learned how to use Adobe Photoshop a bit more as I went on, and allowed me to create the shapes that I needed to show the texture. My honest critique, I really liked my final logo. I thought it was quite fun and relates to my idea as well. The typeface was altered to create the balanced yet unique look, which I think looks really good, as well as creating that carpet texture through Photoshop. And then these same processes are used to also create my final design, which I'm very happy with my fluffy netball bib. My ideas from my mind map allowed me to create my stylescapes and create the perfect design. I love the fluffy line work, the carpet look that I did all my research with, and overall I'm very happy with it. If I could redo it, I would maybe do a bit more research on the sport ideas of the products used, so maybe other uniforms used, other products used, but I do think the bib worked the best in my opinion. So yeah, that is everything, and thank you for listening.